Okay. So, just real quick here, I wanted to share something that just happened to me over the past 12 hours or so. I've been trying to grapple, ongoing. It's an ongoing problem. I've been grappling with this whole travel situation over the long term. I guess it's not travel. I'm literally trying to plan a move overseas in the near future. So that is something that I'm kind of dealing with the planning of right now, and something I haven't done before. So it's kind of a big step from my perspective, like personally. It's not something I've done it with the military in the past, but that's completely different. You're in this sort of framework and structure that is completely taken care of by an outside force organization. Um, so just been uh, kind of mentally grappling with a lot of the changes in thinking and the uncertainty primarily of that situation. Um, the idea being that I take myself out of where I'm at right now and put myself into a new culture, a new space, and immerse there for a while, with the ultimate goal to be to go to school over there, and really just soak it in, take myself out of this perspective. And I love all of those sort of motivating forces and rationales for why I've been wanting to do this for years. It's not an impulse thing. It's something that's been sort of broiling in my mind for a long time now. The problem is, it's easy to think of a great idea like that and even spend years meandering on it. But when it actually comes down to the rubber meeting the road, actually making it happen, especially when it's something like this, where it is particularly daunting of a task, and there's a lot of just cognitive dissonance and uncertainty with, what am I going to do when I get over there? Do I don't really have a support network, so how does that work? Like what kinds of paperwork and all these different things that have I not taken care of yet? Will I be able to find work and a job over there when I'm still just trying to get established and build out a community? All of this uncertainty and questions and self doubt comes into the picture all of a sudden and sort of takes over my confidence in the situation, becomes this big ball of anxiety. So that's the thing that I've been trying to grapple with. And I had a really good pep talk with a friend of mine just now. And I wanted to share some of that thinking and also just this typical reaction that I tend to have whenever I get into this situation. And this is in large part a self-coaching session, as every single one of these has been. Is I'm experiencing some sort of challenge or obstacle right now. I'm going to try to coach myself through it, and I'm just going to do it, you know, on this platform because it maybe benefits somebody else at some point. But okay, so I'm experiencing all of this anxiety, like an onset of fear, essentially. It's fear at the end of the day. So like, what is that fear coming from? Um, like where is it rooted? And if I asked myself that question, if I like stop for long enough, just hit pause on this the growing ball of anxiety, uncertainty, and doubt, and like, am I doing the right thing? Like any sort of contradictory messages that I've ever gotten from anybody else immediately come to mind. I gotta hit stop on all of that and essentially just ask myself first, where is it coming from? Why am I like, what is causing me to feel this way, to experience this anxiety and fear right now? This gut reaction of just, oh God, shrink back from whatever you're trying to do and just hide in a corner because it's too much. The conclusion in this situation is that it is a sense of uncertainty about the situation. And I think that's a pretty common experience. I think that's a pretty common problem too, going into any sort of new endeavor. Anytime I've tried to take on something or set out on some sort of new endeavor in the past, it's always that sense of early uncertainty that generates a lot of debilitating, paralyzing fear. And the only way for me to ever have gotten through any of that, and the only way that I'm really going to be able to get through it now, again, this is like self reminder, I'm literally in it, um, is to basically two things. There's two things that come to mind that I can do. One is to try to address the uncertainty. That is the not the easiest thing, but that is the most sort of direct way to actually try to address the problem. If fear is causing me all of this anxiety and the fear is driven by uncertainty into my future, the situation I'm going into, then I can try to address some of that uncertainty by tackling it, adding clarity to different things, making some plans, getting some like just continuing to dig into what that is specifically going to look like, so that it's not quite just jumping into a massive ocean of unknown. The other thing, and arguably the more important of the two, because oftentimes the fear and anxiety is not coming from something that can be immediately addressed. The uncertainty is not necessarily something that can be tackled right away. It's going to take time, or maybe it's just not within my direct control to alleviate that uncertainty. And so when that is not the option, and basically in any case where there's a bunch of anxiety like this, like what I'm experiencing right now, the best thing that I can do, that I know I can do, is to just sit down, essentially, settle into it, embrace it, lean into it, per se. Essentially, just react to that deep seated fear and anxiety that is rising up and welling in the chest and the stomach, and that pit, and essentially just lean into it and embrace where it's coming from and kind of accept that that's how I'm going to be feeling right now, and essentially put a pin in it as like, hey, this is a good thing. This means that I am pushing myself outside of my comfort zone, doing something that is new and unbroken ground, which generally, in most circumstances, is a very good thing to be doing. If the goal here is to try to grow, um, so I'm putting myself in this uncomfortable situation. I'm just acknowledging that that is the case, that that is how I'm going to feel about it for a while, probably until I'm well into the endeavor, and just embrace that this is going to be an uncertain venture, beyond whatever measures I can take to actually plan and alleviate some of that uncertainty. And I can just look at it as an opportunity to learn and to grow from, and to build up some grit and fortitude in facing off against that anxiety. So that's where I'm at right now. I just wanted to do a quick little share on that sort of approach of like taking a deep breath, taking a pause, and just accepting where I'm at right now, embracing the uncertainty and moving forward, and not letting it sort of hamper my efforts, hamper the endeavor going forward. Anyway, I hope this helps somebody.